Hey, it's Coach MK, and I had a quiet moment in an otherwise very loud morning. Whoop! So I apologize for the delay. I wanted to first thank again everyone that responded to the survey. If you didn't receive it, that's okay. It went to the people on the nice list, and it went to anyone that has signed up for updates on either by pushing the register button on my Facebook page, on the Coach MK Facebook page, or signed up for updates on the coachedandloved.com website, which is coming very soon. So that's what I've actually been busy with today. So I tell you that to tell you this, if those of you that responded to the survey, thank you. I really appreciate it. I've taken all that feedback to heart, and I look forward to more stuff going forward. But one of my biggest takeaways from it was that no one knew that I have a YouTube channel, and that's kind of a big deal, because hopefully when the site itself is launched, that will become a lot more clear. But everything I do here is backed up and exported to a Coach MK YouTube channel. And I know I sent that link around in a previous mail out to the nice list, so I can understand why people not on the nice list might not be aware of it. But there you go. I have a YouTube channel, and there's a link to it on the Coach MK Facebook page and on the Mary Catherine Brooks Fleming Facebook page. If you go into the About section, you can find it. As soon as I finish this stream, I'm going to figure out how to put a link here on Twitch as well. So that was communication number one. If you cannot catch the live streams, it's not a big deal. Right now, I'm just doing what I can. Eventually, when I start coaching again, those live streams are going to become really important. But by the time that happens, I will have a programming schedule that I can adhere to, because I hopefully will not have a newborn that likes to blow my days up the way she does right now. So don't worry if live streams aren't your thing and never will be. That is cool. But when moving forward with this interactive component is going to become important for paying coaching clients. I'll leave it at that. So if you have no intention of ever paying me for any reason or ever working with me as a coach, that is cool. You can find all my old streams on the YouTube channel, and you don't ever have to come to Twitch again. That's fine. I stand by it. I like the way this is. I would rather speak than type. There is less opportunity for miscommunication when I'm speaking than when I'm writing, because no matter how much time I spend writing, my voice does not always come through. I pride myself on the fact that most people that have worked with me in any capacity or have spoken to me even once can hear my voice as the words jump off the page into their eyeballs, and I love that. That's carefully crafted working in a country, well, for 7 years, 2 countries where I didn't speak the language. Happy Lunar New Year, by the way. Kang hei fat choi to all my friends in Hong Kong. I am really excited for the Lunar New Year. Clearly, I haven't showered, and I don't intend to do that. Yay! Screw laundry and house cleaning, too. None of that's happening. My haircut is scheduled for next Friday, though. So, all that aside, I'm not sure what the next iteration is going to be or look like, but I do know that there will be this interactive component will be part of it, where you guys have a programming schedule and you can come to me for questions, ask the coach style, versus me having to go hunt, peck, find every question people forgot to tag me in and every comment. And there were so many, the onus was on me the whole time. And when I do this, I want to put the onus on you guys a little bit. Like, here's the window, here's how you do it, come find me. I also appreciate that everybody likes written content, and that's cool. I like writing too. I just need to be very judicious in how I do it, because, again, for the reason I just said, there's a lot of room for miscommunication in my writing, especially with people that have not encountered me or ever had the pleasure. Hopefully it was a pleasure speaking with me. So when I do write something, it takes me way longer than it does to say it, and my answer is way less thorough, because if you can't hear the nuance and I'm delivering information that you might not necessarily like, it can be hurtful if I'm not real careful. So I tell all that to tell you this, things will, don't worry, there should never be a feeling like you're missing out if you don't catch a live stream. Even if it takes 2 weeks to get here, very cool. Oh, yay! Happy Lunar New Year. Thank you. I'm really glad you like the morning mantra. We've got a big surprise coming to the morning mantra in the next day or so, I have a guest host. And I'm going to make this a thing too. I think I want to take Woman Crush Wednesday to a brand new level and have a new host. Maybe, well, I mean, we'll see if I can get one every Wednesday, but I'm excited about the guest host that we have coming up tomorrow. So, yay, Morning Mantra Pod, coming your way. More positivity. We're going to be positive for at least 2 weeks, because that was the other piece of feedback I got was I had been conscious of the fact that the Morning Mantra Pod, because I do respond to listener requests. I had gotten so many requests for handling toxic family members over the holidays, handling toxic relationships that kind of got in your head and interfered with the running. That I was a little nervous. I even called it out a couple times, like, at the risk of this becoming the Toxic Motherfuckers podcast, womp womp. And it was headed that direction. We have course corrected a little bit, and I will still totally give mantras for toxic people. I'm not saying that no topic is ever going to be off the table, but I do need to be more cautious about mixing in the positivity and the daily dose of self-assurance that I promise in the advertising. So these surprises, I know, and it's a good surprise too. I'm excited, and so is she. I just finished editing it, and it's really good. It is really good. It's better than any of the ones that I've done, in my opinion. But so playing around with new things, because creating these podcasts are easy and they take a few minutes. Like, see how long it is? It takes about 1 minute more than that to make it and publish it. And then take a pull quote from it and make something pretty for Instagram. So anything that's like free and fun and interesting, I'm going to keep doing until I can start exchanging what I do for money again. And when I do, I'm going to be a lot more careful about how I do it. It'll be a lot more verbal content. There will be plenty of written content, don't get me wrong. It'll just be in a way that limits the amount of miscommunication, that allows me to be more thorough. And if we're really successful over time, then maybe everything I do can be transcribed. In no small part because I never want to exclude people that are hard of hearing. Because remember, I'm deaf in my left ear, and there are plenty of people on this earth that are deaf in both ears, and they deserve a coach too. So I'm conscious of the fact that ableism inflects what I do, and it just costs, frankly, written stuff and good transcription, like quality transcription, costs money. And I need to be very careful about what I'm doing while I'm doing things for free, that I'm not spending all kinds of money. So that is that. Thank you for the answers. And that is, if you've had any hesitations about Twitch, there you go. If you can't catch live streams, you never are expected to be here live. Yet when that changes, I'll make sure everyone knows, and it's very clear in the contract that you sign before you give me your credit card information. But also, YouTube, everything I've ever done is on YouTube. You can go back to YouTube, and you are free to do whatever you want to do. It's a free country. If I put a strength series up, do it. If I demonstrate it, do it. I mean, it's here and it's free. There's no reason to feel weird about it. This is just a very easy platform to distribute widely, since it takes time and effort to write emails, and I'm not always at my computer. When I'm not at my computer and I can't do Gmail only lets you email maybe 5 people at a time unless you're a business. So after the nice list exploded to 300 and something people, and I couldn't email them all at the same time, I had to go get a Constant Contact account, and Constant Contact does not let you work with a Gmail account. So then I had to turn around and buy a domain. And once I bought a domain, I'm like, well, I might as well build a website. So this whole thing just the nice list has already cost me about $2,000. So there we go. If y'all don't feel loved, you just don't want to be. But I digress. Cut here. Susan and everyone running 3 days at the fair, this part of the podcast or the stream is for you once I've taken a drink. Because my God, it's dry today. There's no graceful way to do that. But I'm not delivering this a response to the State of the Union. So I don't have to be graceful. Yay me! Anyway, so the question I got, and pull it up and get it in its infinite glory. Because I want to get this right. Susan deserves nothing but the best. By the way, I have voicemail transcriptions. It's the best thing in the whole free world. Check out email if you hate voicemail. I don't get to listen to voicemail that often, but wherever I am, email will transcribe it and send it to me in email or text form. So, the call with... Pull this up. Transcription was cut off in this email. Whoops. Sorry, I had this pulled up and then everything went to sleep. Just as soon as I plug it, it decides to crash. Never mind. All right, so I remember the question good enough. If I get this wrong, feel free to send me an iMessage, Susan, because my thing is right here. I believe your question... Oh, there you are. Okay. Very high level, what Susan was asking was... right now, she called me in the middle of her run, which, by the way, you were still passing the talk test, and I was super impressed by that. So the person I was referencing the other day that called me when she was on a run and I didn't know it, that was Susan D. Here, Digital Suze. That was amazing. And she left a voicemail and does not sound out of breath at all, which is kind of amazing. I'm tempted to play it just so you can hear what passing the talk test sounds like. It's incredible, but I won't. I won't embarrass her too much. So... her question was, I'm slowing down today because my heart rate's higher. My heart rate's higher. Everything's really good. I'm just excited about the travel and the race, and I'm nervous. And I know that will not decrease between now and the start line because she's meeting up with Julie and Kate down at Rocky Raccoon because, Susan has amazing ideas and you really want to talk to her. She's kind of like the Pied Piper of events. I love it. But so she's really excited. She's going to not just to do this event and to do her first 50K, but see all these people. And I think meet some of them in person, maybe for the first or second time. But all that just to say, she's excited. Her heart rate's high. And she's never been one of those people that could just force breathing to get her heart rate to relax or lower while in the starting corral of a race. Sorry, once again, I forgot to turn off my notifications. Whoops. Oh, man. There. Notifications off. Okay. So she's like, well, what do I do? And what am I doing differently? How do I need to adjust to accommodate for this? And again, Susan, if that does not capture all of it, feel free to stick something in the chat or privately through iMessage. So with that as the question, number one, because everybody wants to know, what does this mean? I mean, that's always the implicit understood question. It's like, this X is happening. What is the pull quote, the takeaway from this, that this event occurs at all? So congratulations, you're a human and you work, and that's great because you know who does not respond to stimuli and who is able to perfectly control every emotional response? The psychopath. So yay, you are not a psychopath. That's a really good thing. Trust me. That's like, it's on the DSM, it's diagnosable, it's hard to treat. So, you are neither a sociopath nor a psychopath. There is no pathology there. You are normal. Ain't nothing wrong with being normal. 2, what do I do with that? The two things one of the reasons, let me back up. If you watch the stream or the recording of the stream over the weekend, where I'm in the blue shirt, and I address first the survey, and the second point was I talk a little bit through Training Peaks because I shared a couple of screenshots on the Coach MK Facebook page talking about my own really, really, really good run a few days prior. And what I saw in those numbers, the two numbers that are the launch point for all of my analyses, the pace to heart rate figure and the efficiency factor figure. So with that, those two numbers don't mean anything in isolation. But hi, how are you doing? Kay Grayberg, it's good to see you. So in isolation, those numbers mean nothing. What we're really trying to do in a proper analysis is watch multiple data points, how they move in tandem with each other, as well as individually over time. If you remember, what I used to like about Polar and Polar Flow was that it would layer three variables: pace, distance, and heart rate over time. So you can see how those three variables quite visually interact with each other in a singular graph instead of 4 graphs stacked on top of each other, which is so stupid. I can't even get over it. Like, why do you do that, Garmin? It's stupid. Does not help. I digress, because I really want to see how those three things move in tandem to each other. So, and now no one does it anymore, and I'm just going to have to go build it. But that aside, There's no, anything you see in there is a snapshot. And that snapshot is what you need to think of. What is this snapshot showing me before you get wound up about the numbers within? So, for example, right now, if you were to go into your Training Peaks and you were to click the Analyze button and go look at the dashboard, which is where the performance management chart is, the first, and this is why I don't like discussing numbers, especially with my one-on-one clients, other than in very high-level terms. Because what you're going to see if you go in there is your fitness number falling. And it's fallen quite significantly in the past probably 10 days. And that's a good thing. That does not actually mean you've lost fitness. Okay? That does not mean you've lost fitness. It means that we peaked, and now we're just not at the peak anymore. Yay! Because remember, you cannot show up to race day tired and expect to perform. That is literally what the taper is for. So, you haven't lost fitness. You think of it as, there's also another number called fatigue. And the fatigue is the yellow line that's usually like down way below the pink line. And it's slowly creeping back up above the blue line. Okay, think of that as your freshness. When it's below the blue line, that's fatigue. And then when it's up above the blue line, that's your freshness level. So don't think of it as your fitness is falling. It's that your freshness is rising so that you'll be ready for the race. And again, that is a very good thing. You want to show up fresh. You don't want to show up tired with the highest possible TSS score. That doesn't do anyone any good. So don't worry about any numbers that have decreased in the past 2 weeks. The name of the game, remember when I say that we can parlay a taper out for like 6 to 8 weeks, and then after that, like we got to cut it? That's what I'm talking about. After about 6 to 8 weeks, we can't artificially bump that number up without overtraining you. And we can only bring it down so many times before it starts to trend down and then won't go back up because your body's just not going to respond to that very well over time. So that's kind of how all of that ties in together to give you an idea. And so where you're at is right where you need to be. And if you tune in tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to be discussing Julie's Training Peaks with her and get her mentally ready for the Rocky Raccoon 50 miler. It's not, I don't think it's her first 50 miler, but it's the first one that she will. I mean, I think she's going to crush it like a Coke can. It's going to be amazing. But I digress. I'm going to give her pre-race call. She's agreed to share it live, and I'm going to be talking through Training Peaks and all the numbers that I see. Not designed to give her like a tightrope to walk on race day, but rather good parameters to maneuver within, and confidence that is supported with data that not only is she ready for this event, but that she's going to do well and that she's better off than she was the last few times that she trained here. Sorry. I swallowed something. Like, wow, this room is dusty because I can't clean it. It's Chinese New Year. So yeah, that's the second point. So these are the two questions I usually get in tandem. Because my fitness level is falling. It's like, no, you're tapering. Your fitness is fine. But also my resting heart rate is rising because I'm excited. This looks like a bad combination. And it would be, generally speaking, in anything other than race week. So every day it's Chinese New Year in my house. I think I love your house, Susan. Perfect. But yeah, when it comes to the heart rate rising, like you are a little overtrained, right? So we overtrain, that's what Hell Week is for, and then we back you off from an overtrained state to a peak state for the race. And you guys are just kind of peaking, but you're not peaking. You're not peaking for because of the work you're doing right now. So when you're doing less and you have more time to think about it, more time to get excited, of course your heart rate's going to go up. So again, you're a normal human. Your fitness is right where it needs to be. You are absolutely ready for this. You haven't lost fitness in any way, and this is not a bad sign. Now, the final question is, what do I do when I get to race day? And I'm still really excited, and I've been giggling with the girls, and I'm amped up, and I'm excited for Julie, and I'm excited for Kate, and I'm excited for me, and group think, and I show up, and then like somebody has different gaiters than I do, and I'm like, wow, they thought more about this than I did. And how do I get out of my own head and out and be mindful in a way that's going to bring my heart rate down? It is really hard to do. This is one of the reasons why I've been doing mantras for 20 years. I'm consistently surprised, like my podcast, The Morning Mantra. I'm consistently surprised at the way the word is kind of thrown around. Back when I was first traumatized, raped, I had to see my rapist a lot on campus. And that was anxiety inducing, but I did not have the grades to transfer to an equivalent university. And I was not about to let that son of a bitch take my chance away from me. So I needed a way to get through all of those encounters on campus. And as you can imagine, with trauma, it's fight or flight. As soon as I see them, my heart rate skyrockets, my face turns red, I freeze. It's like about to get hit by a car. So, and I promise, like, this is similar to a race because it's all the same reaction. Your brain, eustress and actual stress, it's the same thing. It produces the same chemical reaction in your brain. Your body does not differentiate between positive and negative stress. It is one word for one reason. We say eustress to delineate positive from negative, but your endocrine system is not advanced enough to do that or give a shit. So, no matter where you are, in good times or bad, the tool that I got to get me through, to keep me focused and moving, was to envision the situation that I would be in when I would see this person, and then come up with a mantra to kind of guide me through it. So, the reason I think, and again, in my opinion, meditation is awesome. Mindfulness is terrific, but it isn't specific. It isn't specific to the situation. We tend to take, my mantra is fearless. And I'm like, no, that's your tagline. That's your byline. Like, MK, hashtag Coach MK, hashtag coached and loved. I'm like, coached and loved is not my mantra. It's my byline. It's my tagline. It's what comes along with working with Coach MK. It's part of who I am. It's part of my brand. And fearless might be part of your brand. That's not a mantra. You can sit there in any situation and just chant fearless, fearless, fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. And that's not going to make you less scared, because that doesn't address the source of the fear. That does not address the source of what's going on in that situation. So I have this whole podcast that's been honed over 20 years of sitting in a therapist office and coming up with things that stress me out and individualized mantras to get me through those situations. And then as soon as it's done, it's gone. So remember, the mantra is for the situation. It's not for the person. You know, you're not going to have the one mantra that fits every situation. And it's kind of, that's why when I see like, this is my Monday mantra, I'm kind of like, but that's about you. That's not about the situation. And when it's not personal, it's not effective. So I tell you all that to tell you this. The whole purpose of a mantra, if you Google it, like the white person transliterated definition of the word mantra, is something to keep you centered and focused in a given situation. Sometimes it's translated to mean chant or prayer, and those are different. Like is called a mantra, but it's not the same thing. It's not used in the same way. So for lack of a better term, mantra is what I'm going with, and maybe at some point I'm going to be like called out and corrected and given a better word to use. Like no one says spirit animal anymore, we all say Patronus, and maybe that day will come for me, and that's cool. But for 20 years I've been saying mantra, and this is what it means to me, and this is how I use it. I would come up with a mantra for this situation for when you get into the corral, and that mantra is what's going to keep you centered and focused and lower your heart rate, so that, like for me, 20 years ago, I could be standing in the line at Taco Bell in the Commons, and rather than turn red and pass out, I could just like place my order, act like a normal person, and keep going, because no one gave a shit that I was traumatized back then. No one wanted to hear about it. So, yep, your heart rate shoots up to 150 range. Yep. No, and Again, that's normal. The reason that happens, it's kind of like doing a stride. We do a stride to like force your cardiovascular system to adapt. That is the fight or flight response, getting you ready to run from the motherfucking dinosaur. It's a good thing. So congratulations, your system works. Your job now is to be like, there's no dinosaur. There's no dinosaur. There's no dinosaur. And that's a mantra that I have used in the past in the start line of a corral when I've noticed that happening. There's no dinosaur. There's no dinosaur. I'm fine. I'm fine. And to me, that's so funny and distracting, it takes me out of the moment. Because it's ridiculous. Of course there's no dinosaur. They haven't been around for 1 billion years or whatever. So, okay, perfect. Great. Use that. So think about it. Whatever's going to kind of take you out of that moment. because yes, we need to learn to be with these emotions and sit with them and manage them so that you can, you can be in classes on the same campus with, or in these situations, right? You don't need to avoid races. The answer was not me dropping out of college any more than is you like not going to a race. It's like, what do I do when we're there? We find something specific to that moment and use it. And maybe you use the same one over and over and over again every time you get into a corral. And that's cool. But if you're in a race with different stakes, maybe your mantra is going to be like, I don't have to be here. Like that's what I encouraged at Cape Cod, right? Because the weather was so bad, or the weather was predicted to be so bad. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. And there's something really empowering about that. I don't have to do this. I have the power to walk away. And something about that is usually enough to calm people right down. So think about kind of sit with the source of that emotion, be it excitement or anxiety, or confidence even. Like, I am ready. I am ready, because I was confident and I was excited the day before the Philadelphia Marathon back in 2016. But when I woke up, remember, there were gale force winds and I was naked, not completely, but close enough. I was pretty darn naked. If you see on my about page here and on Twitch and on my header on my LinkedIn profile, I wasn't wearing very much. I was wearing less than most people out there, because that's how I race. I had gloves on for warmth and a hat and a bra and panties. And that's just what I like to run in. So I digress. I'm wearing what I think is enough clothing when I walk outside, and it was until I felt the wind and was like, nope, not enough. And that's when I got nervous. And what I used to calm myself in that moment, because I'm like, what am I worried about? I'm worried about being underdressed. I'm worried about being underprepared. But you know what? I'm good. I dressed for the end of this race because I'm here to work. And when I get to the end of this race, this will be enough clothes. I probably won't even have my gloves on. And as you can see, I didn't when I crossed the finish line. So I tell you all that to tell you this, like my mantra in that moment was to address what was stressing me out and make my heart rate spike. And that was the fact that I was cold. And be like, I've done everything correctly. What I feel now is not what I will feel once the work kicks in. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's not about denying what you feel. You've got to acknowledge it if you're going to move through that moment. And that's what a mantra is intended to do. I'm not there's no dinosaur. That worked for me the time that I used it because I'm not trying to fake it till you make it with the sense of calm. I'm addressing it. Like, I'm panicked. I'm ready to run from the dinosaur. There's no dinosaur. There's no dinosaur. You know what? I'm cold right now. But you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to run fast. And once the work kicks in, I'm going to be glad I don't have long sleeves on. I'm going to be glad I'm not in pants. I'm going to be glad I am half naked. And the next time, and what kind of worked was as soon as I took my clothes off, and my pre-race clothes off, my warm-up clothes off, there in the corral. And I was the only person to do it. There were a whole lot of people that ran the whole race in their warm-up clothes that never got discarded. I heard someone say, Jesus, she's wearing nothing. What a badass. And I'm like, too right I am. Too right I am. Someone saw me and they didn't say, wow, what a dummy. They were like, wow, what a badass. She's here to work. And I was like, that is right. I'm here to work. And I just kept saying that over and over again because I was fucking cold. I was really cold until about mile 6. Then I started to warm up a little bit, and then I started to sweat. And then it got cold again as it got windy. But I digress. So that was how I got through that moment, and I made up more mantras as I went. What do I feel? This. You know what? So what? That doesn't mean I have to stop doing what I'm doing, and it doesn't mean you do either. So whether your mantra is, there is no dinosaur, or Kate's nothing special because you're just so excited to see Kate. I'm just kidding. Kate is wonderful. Just whatever, find the root of whatever it is that you're feeling. And if it is total excitement, or like sadness, nervousness that you won't be able to be next to Kate the whole time. Let's say that's it. Maybe you're nervous. If you find yourself like a little intimidated because Julie's running longer and maybe you think Kate's going to be running faster. Maybe the mantra that you address it and you say, hey, you know what? Kate will be at the finish. Kate can catch me at the finish line. She's so strong. Kate can drag me back to the car. Kate is strong. She better be strong enough to carry me. Turn it into something like that, and that's going to be an effective way to get through that moment, to work with that. What if it's insecurity, if it's nervousness, like my man Kate's really nice and she might slow down to run with me, and I don't want her to have to do that. Kate's a grown up. Kate's a grown up. Kate ain't going to run with you if she don't want to. Kate's not going to give you her race and then hold it against you. Kate's not an asshole. Kate's not an asshole. Kate's not an asshole. Whatever it is, just kind of address it, and whatever's kind of at the end to wrap that thought up, that's usually where the mantra comes from. And it comes from talking it out and thinking it out. So I would say to you, Suze, whatever it is in those moments when your heart rate's really high, if you can't identify the source of what you're feeling, like, try there is no dinosaur and just assume it's excitement. Yay! I'm human. Yay! I work good. Because you do. Yay! I'm functional. Or, you know what? I'm worried all these guys have sandwiches in their backpack and they're like trying to pack those sandwiches carefully. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I don't like sandwiches. I don't like sandwiches. Whatever it is. That is kind of the formula I would use, since I can't pre-prescribe every emotion in every moment. Only you are ever going to know really what's going on in here and in here as you go through your day. But that is where a mantra comes from. That's how it comes together. And that really is how I would think of it. Now, I'm going to put my glasses back on. Do that one more time because I'm classy as fuck. Yeah, give a lot of thought to the mantra, because it might take a few to catch on to what it is you're feeling. You gave yourself permission in Philly to walk off the course and go back to your husband. Yeah. And it's an empowering thing. It's when the times we get nervous or scared are the times that we feel like we are not in control of a situation. And sometimes we aren't. But what we are in control of is our response to that situation in that moment, to the emotion that we express. What you feel is natural and normal and okay, and it is what it is. At the same time, the response, the outward response, is something you have a lot of control over. So you can't help that your heart rate goes up. What you can do is be like, why'd that happen? Get back down. It ain't time yet. It ain't time yet. I'm good. There's no dinosaur. I hate sandwiches. Kate's not an asshole. Kate's really strong. She can carry me to the car. Whatever it is, find it, sit with it, play with it in that moment, and just repeat it over and over and focus on it. The more ridiculous, the better. And like for me, especially if the emotions are negative emotions, I hate that negative emotion, but it's one that, and I think of them as productive and non-productive, right? When you're calm, when you're happy, you're not distracted. When you're anxious, when you're scared, you are distracted. So those emotions, I would think, they impede a productive experience. So if you're feeling an emotion that could impede a productive experience, the solution for me has always been humor, like, and that image of, Kate carrying you to the car after you've both run 50K is funny enough. I would think that it would take you out of the moment, and I'd be surprised if your heart rate didn't drop. So that's all I have to say about that. That's a lot. And aren't you glad I didn't try to write it? I've been talking now for 46 minutes or something. If I had tried to write that, it would have been little and pithy or too much to read. TLDR. And that's the other trade-off, right? When I talk, I know I talk for a while, so you make time to sit down and listen. But if I wrote, it'd be like, that's too long. I'll open it later. And then it goes into an email file that's never looked at. It goes into a blog that's never read. It goes into a Facebook post that people are like scared of. So I can't win either way, so we're just going to try to do what works for me. And this was terrific. Sorry I didn't call you earlier, Susan, but this was a really good idea. I'm glad you suggested it. I think I need to put something like this on the website that explains what a mantra is and where it comes from. Maybe without using the word rape, because we lost about like 10 people when I said it, but whatever. Hurts me more than it hurts them. Yay! You are coached. You are loved. Go win at Tuesday, and I hope you sparkle like my t-shirt. Kong hei fat choi. Let's all get rich together this year. If only we could all be at Rocky Raccoon, eating sandwiches and watching Kate drag Susan to the car, away from the dinosaur. Double chocolate chip cookies. I can't. I want them so badly. Oh, enjoy.